No chance. Warriors close bombastic trade today, 10:23. Attention, Warriors fans. No chance of this being a rumor. Today, 10:23, the board has just closed a bombastic exchange. Breathe. In 30 seconds, I'll tell you who arrives, who leaves, how many picks were used, and the immediate impact on the rotation. If you live in the Golden State with me, you know, we don't exaggerate here. I'm going to show you why this decision is made now, what changes in the locker room, and how this affects our fight in the West. Prepared? Stay until the end to see the minute projection and the new quintet. Let's go straight. If this movement caught you by surprise, leave a like now and subscribe to the channel so you receive the complete analysis of the trade, the impact on the rotation, and the new quintet today. Let's move on because in the next few seconds I'll show you who came, who left, and how that changes the season. Picture the scene, the fog over the bay beginning to lift, the gym still empty, and a silent movement changing the course of an entire season. A veteran contract, no spotlight, adjusts Golden State's flight map. It's not an ad to break the internet. It's an engineering decision, the kind of choice that doesn't need fireworks to light up the board. Today, I want to take you calmly and methodically through what this signature means on the court, in the locker room, on the calendar, and in the spreadsheet. I want you to finish this video with the feeling that you can see the game 2 steps ahead, like someone reading a play on the clipboard and already imagining the next coverage. Let's get straight to the point. This team's priority is to stabilize the floor to return to aiming for the ceiling. Burst spots continue to exist. What was missing last year was the ability to cross the valleys without falling apart. Sequences in which the rebound disappeared, the bottle was exposed, and 2 or 3 empty possessions were amended by small details. A broken spacing, a delayed security pass, a block in the wrong angle. The arriving veteran was not hired to add flashy statistics. He was hired to remove what is ugly, to erase noise, to transform possessions that were being created crooked into predictable, clean possessions with high-value shots. If you follow the channel, you've heard me talk about invisible victories, those that don't appear in the box score and yet determine the score. The new pivot is essentially an organizer. He points with his finger to reposition a winger, leans his body in a block to generate half an extra step, calls the dribble handoff at the right time, drops the ball on the shooter's chest at pace, makes the exit pass without raising the blood pressure of the play. It's the kind of reading that turns chaos into routine. And in a cast that alternates moments of brilliance with lapses in attention, routine is gold. Before we step into the tactical, a financial parenthesis that matters in modern basketball, the agreement is rational. Short duration, total value supported, without dangerous steps or conditions that bind the board. This creates 2 layers of protection. The first is the obvious one, cost. You pay for what you can use, not for the name. The second is strategic. The contract allows the coaching staff to manage the season without fault. When the salary is designed for 18 to 24 minutes of impact, no one feels obligated to squeeze 34 just because he's the starter. The result? Freedom to choose the right nights, and a team that breathes better in February when the calendar takes a toll. Rotation. This is where the conversation takes on flesh. With the departure of pieces that previously took up minutes in the bottle, position 5 becomes a puzzle with 3 main pieces and 2 ways to put it together. The first philosophy is the signature of the dynasty. Draymond as a center, 5 open, communication on the wing, exchanges when necessary, hands poking each passing line. This version can blow up a game in 4 minutes, but it takes a physical and mental toll, especially on Draymond when used as Plan A for 7 months. The second philosophy is born with the veteran. It's the game of a classic 5 who protects the rim by position and anticipation, not by hunting for stumps, who respects pick and pop and understands handoff grammar, who keeps the ball alive and the attack on track. It's a rhythm that lowers the pulse, raises the floor, and gives Stephen Curry a solid reference on the shoulder to work in the half court. The key word is dosage. Some nights call for controlled turbulence. Others ask for landing on time. The trick to a good season is getting a feel for what revenue the match requires and for how long. I want you to visualize 4 actions that, in practice, change the lives of those on the court. First, the high drag followed by the handoff above the 3 line. It seems simple. It is not. When the block changes angle at the last second, the target loses track for an instant. That instant gives Curry the window to turn the corner, squeeze in help, and trigger the corner. Second, the Spain pick and roll, with the veteran as primary a blocking player and a point guard locking the opposing pivot behind his back. If the help sticks to the roll, space opens up in the slot for the ball to arrive in time and the defense to rotate diagonally, which is where it suffers most. Third, the Chicago sequence, pinned down towards the handoff, with the slip as a countertime weapon. The reading is physical. The second the pursuer glues too much, the block falls apart and the big one floats into free space. Fourth, the corner spacing that pulls the opposing five out of the paint. This occupation of the corner, so basic, frees up the 45-degree cut of the most athletic wingers. There's no glamour, there's efficiency. Defensively, get ready to see the veteran operating in contain and controlled drop against most creators. The goal is not to block everything. It's directing traffic to shots that the system accepts. Contested floaters, short hooks out of rhythm, submissions from 240 meters with a hand in front. This reduces silly fouls on the perimeter, protects the rim by reading, and keeps the team organized to close down the rebound. Against centers who like to attack the ball, the coverage is tight. Late help from below, active hands when collecting the ball, insistence on denying the first step. When the rivals shrink and open up five shooters, the play changes place. Either Draymond drops to five and embraces the chaos, or the veteran stays to punish on the other half of the court, finding second chances and controlling the pace. Having both keys in your pocket is what defines a long series. Now the calendar. 15 back-to-backs in a normal season already call for planning. As the booster ages, asking for 2 legs in a row is a recipe for error. The policy is clear. He will not play both nights. This is not fragility. It's engineering. You design around the priorities, big duels in the West, games that directly impact tiebreakers and national television clashes, and organize everything else. Days off announced in advance, light training on the right mornings, a minutes ceiling that respects travel microcycles. This is where we chart a path for Trace Jackson Davis and Quinton Post. They stop being if needed and become part of the script. What is the order for both of them? Clean paper, waste-free possessions, box out in your area, screen well planted, avoidable shortages nipped in the bud. If they do the basics with energy and discipline, the second unit can handle it without gasping when the veteran sits down. There is a little talked about advantage that a smart center offers. The first pass after the rebound. Half of the rebound is technique. The other half is positioning. The outlet is, above all, a decision. When he leaves in time, Stephen Curry gains steps, and steps for Stephen Curry are the most valuable currency in sports. A numerical detail illustrates this. If the handoff happens 1 meter above the usual point because the outlet was not late, the choice of defender becomes a dilemma. If he sticks too much, Curry snakes into the zone where the floater and mid-range are a real threat. If he helps a second earlier, the skip pass to the corner arrives clean. It's geometry. It's putting the ball where the defense can't win twice. Also think about the indirect impact on Draymond Green. He continues to be the defensive brain, the voice that organizes, the first to speak and the last to leave the play. What wears Draymond down are the solitary possessions that require 2 rolls in sequence, fighting for deep position with a 7-footer, jumping on the pick and pop to contest, coming back to dig on the drive because the first line was beaten. The veteran assumes part of these frontal collisions, makes the box out that frees Draymond to fly on the pass route. He takes the first contact so that Draymond arrives as the second defender, the one who steals the time and turns the tables. In April, the difference between fresh and tired legs is sometimes 2 possessions in the fourth quarter. At the casting level, the responsible contract creates audible value and silent value. What can be heard is the stability in the minutes without Curry. That interval between the second and the end of the third quarters in which games are often lost when the attack becomes disorganized. The silencer is the room for maneuver. You preserve space to react if a cheap and functional big car appears on the market in the middle of the road. No one here is advocating for exchange. We are advocating by choice. If Jackson Davis and Post accelerate the curve, the team will not be held hostage to moves out of desperation. If they do not accelerate, there is room for a surgical correction. Age? This is the first argument of the critic, and it is also the easiest to contextualize. No one hired the veteran to chase point guards 8 yards from the rim. The proposal is not speed, it is angle. It's not an explosion, it's time. It's knowing when to invert the screen, when to hold contact, when to anticipate the crease, when to accept the opponent's right shot. What age takes away in athletic range, it gives back in reading, and reading is valuable. Furthermore, there is the cultural layer. A locker room with stars that speak loudly benefits from a figure that translates from the drawing board to the instant. A screen cue on the second zero saves a possession. A stay in the exact tone avoids an unnecessary exchange. Young people listen to those who don't waste words. I want to bring you into a possession to feel it on your skin. With 2 minutes left until the break, minimal advantage. The rival just punished an open corner. The arena is noisy with suspicion. Ball high. The pivot goes up to block, changes the angle, receives the ball in the pocket when the help advances half his body, doesn't force the floater. The reading is immediate. The defense came from below, so the ball crosses diagonally to the wing, which already seals the corner. 3 points. Come back. In the next possession, the opponent tries to repeat the design, empty on the strong side. The pivot takes an extra step in the drop, shows both hands, denies the infiltration line, contests at the free throw mark, long rebound, exit pass on time. It's a 40-second sequence that turns the game around by 5 points. It wasn't isolated brightness. It was correction after correction. Save this logic for the final minutes. When rivals decide to overload Curry and blow the first handoff, having a big guy who receives it short, holds the ball coolly, and finds the next advantage changes the entire design. Defenses hate rotating from back to front. When the wrong rotations are made, desperate closeouts are born, bad pairings at the rim, long rebounds without an owner. And on nights when the sun doesn't shine as usual, the pivot's mid-range float, the catch-and-shoot of 3 as a threat of respect, become a valve to take the game to where someone else's error appears. In the playoffs, everything slows down. Possessions become aggressive. The referee holds the whistle in marginal contact. Players who do not swallow the ball gain space when the painted area looks like a subway station. You need someone to take the shock, pivot on the pivot foot, reposition, and find the corner with a clear view. He needs someone who doesn't fall for tricks with 2 fouls in the first quarter. Experience is not a trophy on the shelf. It's a mental shortcut in the seconds that decide series. Let's be objective about risks. They exist. There will be nights when the veteran rests and the opponent converges on 17 three-pointers with a hand in the face. There will be nights when he comes in, commits 2 fouls in 3 minutes, and the coaching staff tears up the coverage sheet before the first technical timeout. There will be nights when opponents live off offensive rebounds, when only 5 bodies on a rope, synchronized, will stop the bleeding. The plan is not invulnerable. The plan is controlled. He bets on the process, in defined roles, in minutes that respect the calendar and not the ego. This does not eliminate bad luck, reduce exposure. Now the part that affects the season itself the most, the availability rule. No 1-2s and back-to-backs. 15 sets on the calendar means at least 15 planned absences. This is not improvisation. It's a grid. It is an agenda agreed with the performance team in advance so that demand peaks coincide with energy peaks. Paired with a minute envelope in the low 20s, this produces consistency. The questions become standardized answers. When you play, what you play for, how much you play for. From then on, the team breathes together. And what does this do to young people? Open window. For at least 15 nights, the front court will operate without the veteran safety net. It will be Jackson Davis and Draymond tandem games. They will be Quinton post games as a fitting piece. These will be rebound games by committee, with point guards dropping down to break the first contact, wingers tagging the role early, and yes, accepting to live with certain well-contested three-pointers, because mathematics is kinder than giving up layups in sequence. If in matches like this the team ties the glass and stays within its own waste average, the account closes without having to force the bar on the market. If things go wrong, there is a plan B. Look for a great high that eats minutes and provides physical impact. The point is to have criteria, not panic. I want to tie this all together with another tactical approach because I know you like to see the play before it happens. Pay attention to 3 details this season: the time at which handoffs begin, the weak side's box-out discipline, and the speed of the outbound pass. If the handoff goes up a notch, the ball carrier's defender will find himself between 2 bad decisions. If the weak side's box-out is protocol, the opponent's second chance statistically drops. If the exit pass is immediate, the transition attack comes with an advantage and kills the opponent's choices. It's simple things, but, repeated over and over again, they create 8 to 12 spots a night without anyone noticing when, exactly, they appeared. In the human sector, there is an effect that cannot be measured, but can be felt. Veterans like trails, DA clarity, and you will receive consistency. A young bench relaxes when roles are defined and the tone of voice on the court does not fluctuate. A technical correction said in a central pick, without increasing volume, is worth more than a speech in the locker room. This economy of words matches a cast that needs to cut out external noise, not add to it. So what's the thesis? No shortcut? Golden State purchased 2 years of applied intelligence. Bought consequent spacing, not cosmetic. He bought organization in the minutes without his biggest star. Paired that with a usage plan that respects biology and respects the competitive clock. And it maintained room to react if the unexpected knocks on the door. The likely result is not a team that will make headlines on any Wednesday. It's a team that will look more professional in these quarterfinals. And consequently, it will be more dangerous on the Fridays that matter. Regularity is not glamour, I know, but it is what carries you, healthy, until the kind of April when the things that really matter happen. Now I want to hear you. Do you prefer Draymond's electricity at 5 for long stretches, or do you see the value in accumulating clean possessions with a veteran anchor? Would he give the 15 games without the veteran to Jackson Davis to accelerate the curve? Would he share it with Post, or would he let the moment decide? What is your parameter for considering the plan successful? Rebound tied, turnovers below average, advantage in the bank's plus-minus? Leave it in the comments. The community here tends to get readings that many people pay to get. If this dive helped you see the season better, you know the ritual. Turn on notifications, share with those who experience each possession like you, and come back here after the next game to read the field. We don't chase catchphrases. We pursue correct decisions, because it is they, together, that make the score keep secrets only for those who paid attention. If you want to see every game 2 steps ahead, the next move is now. Click on the Warriors Analysis playlist and binge the episodes that break down rotations, defensive coverages, half-court adjustments, and the real impact of the veteran center on the silent possessions that win games. There you will find frame-by-frame readings, fixed frames such as Detail That Decides and Minute Map, and practical guides on what to observe live, where the corner shot is born, when the handoff has to go up a step, how the weak side's box out changes the score. Save to favorites to come back after each game, share with those who like possession after possession, and comment your guess on the first video on the list. I'll read everything and bring it back for the next analysis. Don't leave it for later. Each click on Warriors Analyzes is one less possession given to chance. Enter now, adjust your perspective, and come and transform ordinary Wednesdays into professional victories.